Welcome to the Flir Exx Series tutorial that covers the basics of operating your thermal imager. Before we start, it is important to remember that knowing how to use this camera is just the first step. To get the most out of your thermal imager, thermographers must also understand how to interpret what they're seeing, and that includes how to accurately measure temperatures. Here are two examples that demonstrate why proper training is important. The side of this house really isn't cold, and this electrical equipment isn't hot. It's only with certification training that you'll understand what's happening here and what you can do about it. So if you're ready to get certified, watch until the end of this presentation to learn more about the Infrared Training Center. Throughout the year, the Infrared Training Center offers hundreds of dates at a number of convenient locations, including online certification courses too. Go to infraredtraining.com to learn more and get started today. The Flir Exx Series is a high-performance thermal imager that is used for a variety of applications, including electrical systems, mechanical equipment, building diagnostics, and much more. It's available in a number of configurations, including the E96, 86, 76, and 54 models. All of these cameras offer various resolutions and multiple temperature ranges depending on the needs of your application. This line of thermal imaging equipment also offers all of the functionality that thermographers have come to expect from an infrared camera these days. This includes access to a variety of measurement tools, color palettes, and more that we'll cover here in a moment. The E96, 86, and 76 series thermal cameras also work with multiple lenses that allow thermographers to inspect targets at a variety of distances. To change the lens, turn the blue lock ring counterclockwise until the lens detaches from the thermal imager. Next, gently lift the lens off and replace it with another. Turn the blue ring back clockwise until the new lens locks into place. Check that the lens is secure by ensuring the white mark on the lock ring aligns with the raised black mark located on the lens housing. The EXX series thermal camera works with AssetLink, Ignite, and Thermal Studio. These software programs offer solutions that provide the ability to analyze images and generate inspection reports. This helps thermographers and their programs stay organized and make better maintenance decisions using the data that these software solutions provide. We'll discuss AssetLink and Ignite a little bit later in this presentation. For now, let's move on to the basics of camera operation. In these demonstrations, we are going to use this Flir coffee mug as a target. If you want to follow along, feel free to pause the video, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of warm water, and come right back. Two batteries are provided with the Flir Exx Series thermal imager, each offering approximately 2.5 hours of runtime. To insert a fresh battery, remove it from the charger, slide it into the handle, and push until the battery clicks into place. To turn the camera on, hold down the power button until the Flir logo appears on the display. The camera's firmware will load and a live thermal image will appear on the screen. Next, let's talk about the control buttons and other features found on the thermal imager. Above the power button is the back button. This backs you out of any on-screen menu or selected option. The navigation pad with its center push button is used to move around the menu system and select the various options. Pressing the center button opens the selected option on the menu. The EXX series thermal imager is also touchscreen driven. Tapping the three dots at the bottom of the display provides another way to open the main menu. A hidden menu can also be accessed by swiping down from the top of the display. Here you can turn Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on or off, sign into your Flir Ignite account, and activate the LED lamp to illuminate your target. There is also a slider here on the right that adjusts the brightness of your display. Swipe back up to return to a live image. The Image Archive or Playback button opens saved images and videos. The programmable button can be customized to run a specific function that is commonly used by the operator. To configure this feature, press and hold down the button for about 2 seconds to bring up a list of available options. Use the navigation pad to scroll through the list of options. Highlight the desired command and press the center push button to set the function. The laser button is used to operate the laser pointer located on the front of the camera. Press and hold down the button to turn it on. This can be used by operators as a visual guide to show where they are pointing the thermal imager. The laser will shut off once the button is released. On the front of the camera, you will see the infrared lens. This is a good time to mention that you should also avoid touching the lens. Infrared camera lenses have a special coating on them that play an important role in the camera's ability to measure temperatures. If that coating gets damaged or worn off, it will affect the accuracy of your temperature measurements. Procedures on how to properly clean a lens can be found in your user manual. We recommend trying to clean the lens as little as possible, and be sure to use your lens cover whenever you put the camera down. Operators can use the focus ring to manually adjust the focus of the thermal image. There's a digital camera that captures visible light control photos when saving a thermal image. It is also used when the MSX imaging mode is active. We will discuss MSX and the benefits this feature provides later in the presentation. 2 LED lamps are also included. These illuminate the scene, helping operators capture better visible light photos in low light conditions. The laser transmitter is where the beam originates from when pressing the laser button. It is used in conjunction with the laser receiver to calculate target distance when using the autofocus feature. The trigger is used for saving data. To capture an image or start and stop video recording, simply pull the trigger. The small button built into the trigger operates the camera's autofocus feature, which we will demonstrate later in this presentation. Finally, the rubber cover located on top of the camera is where operators can access the memory card slot and the USB-C port. Insert the SD card here to store your thermal data. The USB-C port can be used to transfer your thermal data directly to your computer when Wi-Fi is not available. Next, let's discuss how to configure the device settings on your thermal imager. Let's take some time to explore more of the camera's features and the various settings that you will want to configure. There are several functions on the Flir Exx Series thermal imager that are tied to its networking capabilities and are available via Wi-Fi. This includes access to Flir Ignite and Asset Link. To connect your thermal camera to Wi-Fi, go to the main menu, select Settings, and tap Wi-Fi under Connections. Select Connect to Network, and then look through the available networks. Once selected, enter your password to connect. After a Wi-Fi network has been selected, then use the back arrow or the back button to navigate back to the main settings menu. Having the correct date and time entered into your camera is important for proper documentation and record keeping. These values are tied to each file when you save a thermal image and cannot be changed afterwards. To set the date and time, navigate to and select Device Settings, and then Language, Time, and Units. Under Date and Time, you should see options to set your time format, the date format, and the time zone. If you're connected to a Wi-Fi network, turn on Automatic Date and Time to update this automatically. For now, you can use the fields below this option to make manual adjustments. Tap the time field on the touchscreen or press the center push button to select this option. Next, tap the field you want to adjust. Scrolling up and down on the display with your finger or pressing up or down on the navigation pad changes the selected field. Once the fields have been set, tap the back arrow on the display to return to the Date and Time submenu. Repeat this process to set the correct date. Once complete, press the back arrow once again to return to the Date and Time menu and once more to return to the Language, Time, and Units submenu. Here you can change the units from Fahrenheit to Celsius or the distance values from feet to meters. Flir will also occasionally push out firmware updates to your thermal imager. This download ensures your infrared camera is running the latest software. Doing so helps improve the camera's reliability and functionality, which is essential to the success of your inspection program. From the Language, Time, and Units menu, press the back arrow once to return to the Device Settings menu and select Update to check for new firmware. If a new version is available, follow the prompts to install the software. Before starting an update, it is also recommended that you use a fresh battery during the installation process to avoid any interruptions. Finally, if you have a legacy EXX thermal imager such as the E95, 85, or 75 model, please visit the Flir support website at support.flir.com/EXX. It's here that you can find instructions on how to install the latest firmware for these cameras. Next, let's address temperature range and how to change it on your EXX series thermal imager. The range covers an interval of temperatures that the detector can accurately measure without going into saturation. You work within a range, and when saving an image, all of the temperature data in that particular range is captured. The EXX series thermal imager offers at least 2 temperature ranges depending on which model infrared camera you are using. To change the range, open the main menu by pressing the navigation pad or touching the menu icon at the bottom of the display. Navigate to Settings and select Camera Temperature Range. This E96 thermal imager has 3 ranges. Range 1 covers temperatures from -20 degrees Celsius up to 120 degrees Celsius. Range 2 works up to 650 degrees Celsius and range 3 up to 1500 degrees. Select the desired range, with range 1 typically being the most appropriate to use for any targets that are below 120 degrees Celsius. Remember that range is not something you can change after saving an image, so be sure to have the correct one selected before capturing any data. Focus is another adjustment that must be set correctly before saving thermal images or video. The EXX series thermal imager offers 3 options for focus. These include automatic, manual, and continuous autofocus. Press the autofocus button on the trigger to operate this feature and the camera will automatically focus on the target. For this to work properly, however, the target must have good thermal contrast between hot and cold surfaces. If your target is closer to ambient temperature or very uniform in its thermal signature, the autofocus function may not work as well. In these situations, operators can use manual focus instead. Turn the focus ring on the lens housing until your target is in focus. The EXX series also offers a continuous autofocus function. When enabled, the thermal imager will continuously adjust focus as you move the camera around. To turn this feature on, navigate to the Settings menu and select Device Settings. Under Focus, you will see an option to turn continuous autofocus on or off. It's important to mention that using this feature also activates the laser. As such, operators should be careful where they are pointing the camera when this option is enabled. Next, let's talk about the various imaging modes that are available on the EXX series thermal imager. The EXX series comes with several different imaging modes that allow you to customize how objects are displayed on the screen. This includes Thermal MSX, which adds visible light details to the infrared image. MSX stands for Multi-Spectral Dynamic Imaging and improves contrast by superimposing visible light elements that are not normally seen by the infrared camera. This can include equipment labels, breaker numbers, or patterns on objects. Navigate to the main menu and select Image Mode to change this view setting. The following options are available: Thermal MSX, Full Thermal, Picture-in-Picture, and Digital Camera Only. Now, while many thermographers typically use full thermal, many others also seem to enjoy working with MSX as it provides both thermal and visible light data that enhances important details and helps you better identify your target. Thermal tuning is the process of changing the temperature scale in the camera. This is what we call adjusting span and level. Modifying the scale changes the brightness and contrast of the thermal image, helping operators better identify thermal anomalies on the target. The camera is typically set to automatic adjustment mode by default. This automatically changes the temperature scale based on the hottest and coldest objects in the field of view. There may be times, however, when manual adjustment is required. This is especially true when there are extraneous hot and cold targets in the frame. To make these adjustments, open the main menu, navigate to the temperature scale option, and select manual mode. This will highlight the numbers on the temperature scale, and a virtual slider will appear on the display. When both numbers are highlighted, scrolling up and down on the virtual slider changes these values at the same time. Notice how the difference between the temperatures on the scale stays fixed. This is known as adjusting level and is similar to changing the brightness of the thermal image. Operators can also change the size of the temperature scale to adjust the contrast of the thermal image. This is called adjusting span. Tapping one of the temperature values will lock the other number into place. Now, moving the virtual slider changes that value while the other number stays fixed. In manual mode, you also have access to one-touch level and span. Touch one of the temperature scale values until both numbers are highlighted. Now tapping anywhere on the display readjusts the scale based on the temperatures detected at that location. You can also use the navigation pad to change level and span. Press left or right to select the upper, lower, or both temperature values. Then press up or down to change that setting. Knowing how to adjust level and span is an important skill for thermographers to understand and is something we practice in certification training. The Flir Exx Series comes with a number of different color palettes that allow you to add varying levels of contrast to the thermal image. To change color palette, open the main menu and navigate to color. Tap the icon to open the color palette submenu and select your desired color palette. The following options are available: Iron, Rainbow, Rainbow High Contrast, White Hot, Black Hot, Arctic, and Lava. There are also color alarms available on the Exx Series camera. This feature highlights regions of similar temperature on the thermal image to help operators analyze certain thermal patterns or trends. These include the above alarm, below, interval, condensation, and insulation. Let's demonstrate the above alarm using our Flir coffee mug. Select the above alarm and set it to 30 degrees Celsius using the white hot or grayscale color palette. Now, anything that has an apparent temperature that's above 30 degrees will appear highlighted in red. To shut off the color alarm, navigate back into the color palette menu and select one of the standard palettes. Next, let's discuss what measurement tools are available on the Exx Series thermal imager. Measurement tools allow you to add temperature data to your thermal image. The Exx Series offers a number of different options to capture temperature. These can be found in the main menu under the measurement icon. The first option is No Measurements. This turns any selected tools off and leaves the display blank. The Center Spot tool provides a single point temperature measurement. Select this to turn it on. Operators can then move it around the screen by dragging it with their finger. The Hotspot option turns on an area box and displays the maximum temperature inside the defined space. The Cold Spot does the same, but instead uses a minimum temperature value. Also, when an area box is selected, touch any of the corners to highlight the box. Now, dragging the corner will resize the measurement area. Operators can also touch and drag the center point to move the area box around the display. Tap anywhere off of the box or press the back button to remove the outline. There are also two user preset options that operators can customize for temperature measurement. To configure these, press and hold the user preset option on the display. A sub-menu will appear. Selecting Add Measurement will display options to add a spot temperature, add an area box, or add a circle area measurement. Once one of these tools has been selected, the Delta Measurement option will become available. This allows operators to calculate a temperature difference using the selected tool and another desired reference point that they can also customize. Press the Save User Preference to preserve this configuration. When you return to the main Measurement Tools menu, this new custom tool should now be available as one of the preset options. The Exx Series also provides the ability to further customize the individual settings on these measurement tools. To demonstrate this, let's add a hotspot box to the display. Highlight the box again by touching one of the corners. Next, pressing the center push button will open a sub-menu with additional features. Local Parameters allows you to use a custom value for emissivity, reflected temperature, or distance on this specific tool. We will discuss measurement parameters a bit more in the next section. The maximum, minimum, and average temperature options allow you to add or change what the area box provides for temperature measurements. By default, the hotspot area box provides a maximum temperature value. Operators can then add a minimum and average temperature value by toggling these options. There is also a function to set an alarm indicator with this measurement tool. Above and below options are available that can be customized to activate when a temperature passes a maximum, minimum, or average threshold. Users can define this value in the next column and also add an audible alarm. Here is where you can also move or resize the area box, which we demonstrated a moment ago. However, most operators will simply drag the corners or move the box around the display. Finally, the measurement tool can be removed from the display by pressing the delete icon here. While the EXX series offers a lot of functionality with measurement tools, it is important to remember that all of these features can be found in your reporting software. Next, we will discuss using measurement parameters to improve the accuracy of your temperature readings. When using measurement tools, you need to also adjust the values for emissivity, reflected temperature, relative humidity, air temperature, and atmospheric distance. These are known as measurement parameters. All 5 have an impact on temperature accuracy, with emissivity and reflected temperature being the most important. Navigate to the main menu and select Measurement Parameters. Use the navigation pad to highlight the desired parameter and press up and down on the navigation pad to adjust its value. You can also use the touchscreen to scroll and change these as well. Knowing the correct measurement parameters to use requires a Level 1 thermography certification training at a minimum. For now, please make sure you are familiar with how to change these in the camera, and remember that measurement parameters can also be adjusted in your reporting software. The nuke, or non-uniformity correction, is a function that resets the detector array and removes thermal artifacts on the image. These anomalies are created when heat generated inside the camera, or energy that's absorbed from the surrounding environment, affects the stability of the detector array. These anomalies can appear to be warmer or cooler than the actual target and are most noticeable when you move the thermal imager. The non-uniformity correction provides a cleaner image by resetting the detector and removing these artifacts. The clicking that you hear is a shutter that drops down in front of the detector inside the camera. Its purpose is to provide a uniform target for the detectors to reset against. The result is a better image that's more thermally stable and consistent throughout your inspection. You can force a non-uniformity correction by holding down the archive or playback button. The image will pause for a moment while the shutter engages and the word calibrating appears at the top of the screen. The Flir EXX saves both thermal images and video, plus an option to capture time-lapse sequences. A screening function is also available and is only used for skin temperature measurement in medical applications. Navigate to the Settings menu and select Recording Mode to configure what type of thermal data you would like to collect. Use single shot to capture an individual thermal image. Video offers 2 recording formats. These can be configured under the Video Compression option, which is located in the Save Options and Storage menu under Settings. Use MPEG or MP4 to save a standard video file that can be viewed on your computer or phone. This includes any graphics seen on the display. However, this format does not support embedded temperature data. To capture a video that contains temperature data, operators should use the compressed radiometric option. This saves all temperature information from every frame in the video file. That data can then be opened in Flir Thermal Studio, where you can analyze that information as well as adjust span and level, change color palettes, and much more. The time-lapse feature allows operators to capture a sequence of images that show changes in thermal patterns over time. Use the first 3 fields to configure how often you want to save an image in hours, minutes, and seconds. The 4th field defines how many total images you want to capture, with infinity being the first option. Finally, an option for temperature screening is available that allows operators to set a temperature deviation threshold when imaging individuals for elevated body temperature. Let's leave recording mode set to single shot for now and move on to discuss how to save and recall thermal data using the EXX series. To capture a thermal image, set the recording mode to single shot, point the camera at your target, frame it properly, adjust your focus, and pull the trigger. This captures both a thermal and visible light control photo. In video mode, pulling the trigger starts a recording. Press it once more to stop recording, and the video file will be automatically saved to the thermal imager. Press the archive or playback button to view your saved images and video. This will bring up a folder where you will find the saved media stored in a gallery. Tap the folder to open and browse through your saved data. Operators can then use the touchscreen or the navigation pad to select and open an image or playback a video. It's here that you can also review and edit thermal images. Open an image and tap it to reveal the image mode icon. This allows you to toggle between the visible and thermal photos. The three dots next to the image mode icon opens a toolbar that provides access to additional features. Tap the edit icon to open the image and make adjustments to span and level. At the bottom of the display, you should see the main menu icon. Open the main menu and it's here that you can adjust your measurement parameters, change the image mode including MSX, add measurement tools, adjust your color palette, and save any edits that you might make. Operators can also add text notes to a saved image, add location and site tags, record an audio note, draw a sketch, review the image information, or delete the file. Swiping left or right in the image viewer also allows you to browse through your saved images and video. Finally, pressing the back arrow or the back button will return you to the image gallery, where you can view additional saved data or continue to press until you return to a live thermal image. The EXX series thermal camera works with AssetLink, Ignite, and Thermal Studio. These software programs provide the ability to analyze images and generate inspection reports. Both Ignite and AssetLink are cloud-based software solutions, while Thermal Studio is a powerful desktop application. AssetLink and Thermal Studio also offer the ability to create routes and provide more advanced inspection support for thermographers and their maintenance teams. Flir Ignite and Ignite Pro are designed for inspection programs with basic image analysis and reporting needs. The software provides the ability to edit images and generate reports while also backing up your thermal data to the cloud. AssetLink is for maintenance programs that require more robust reporting and data management features. It can be deployed across multiple sites, set up as a private cloud, or configured as an on-premise installation. AssetLink lets you connect your thermography data to an asset ID. This makes it easier to trend conditions over time while providing a dashboard summary that is used to communicate with other data management products. This includes a computer maintenance management system or an enterprise asset management solution. For anyone interested in using AssetLink, a free 18-month trial is available for thermographers. Go to flir.com/products/AssetLink to learn more and get started today. The Infrared Training Center also offers a number of free tutorials that provide an in-depth look at these programs, including a 3-part series on AssetLink that includes how to set up asset libraries and run inspection routes using your Flir Exx Series thermal imager. Go to infraredtraining.com to watch these segments and many more, now available from the Infrared Training Center. We hope you've enjoyed this overview of the Flir Exx Series thermal imager. If you have any questions or need additional help with the camera or software, the following pages are available for thermographers on the Flir support website. Here you'll find a summary of key features, additional technical information, user guides, frequently asked questions, and much more. However, learning how to use the camera and software is just your first step. It's only with certification training that you'll get the most out of your investment in this technology. And that's where the Infrared Training Center can help. Increase your credibility, enhance your career, and build your business. These are just some of what you'll accomplish with certification courses from the Infrared Training Center. Whether you're joining us in the classroom, on-site, or online, our course schedule is packed with upcoming training dates at a number of convenient locations worldwide. Learn from industry veterans and thermal imaging experts who will help guide you through an interactive and practical educational experience with training that meets or exceeds industry standards.
I would 100% recommend this program to friends or colleagues. A little bit of knowledge with this technology can really go a long way and alleviate these problems that affect us all.
Don't wait. Join us for certification training with your EXX Series thermal imager. To register, give us a call or go to infraredtraining.com to learn more and start your journey towards certification with the Infrared Training Center.